He looked me in the eye across white linen table, trying to tell me on his company like I was just another deal to close. What he did not realize was that I used to work for him and the man he fired for no reason. That was my stepdad. I smiled, shook his hand, and quietly destroyed his future. If you have ever been underestimated, if someone ever fired your family and thought you had get away with it, the story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle in for a cooperative revenge so clean. It tastes like justice. Back in 1997, I was just 19, young, broke, and unsure of what I wanted in life. I had spent the early part of that year bouncing between odd jobs, mostly in retail and food services. It was summer when my stepdad Steve offered me a spot working at the telecommunication company, where he was the operation manager. Steve was not just a stepdad. In the legal sense, he was the only real father figure I had ever had. The guy who showed up to my school plays, taught me how to change a tire, and treated me like blood when my real dad vanished years ago. So when he said, "Come work with me, let's build something together," I did not hesitate. I started a basic field tech, splicing cable, climbing poles, installing systems. But to my surprise, I loved it. The work was honest. My hands came home dirty, my back ached, but I was learning something real. 4 months in, things changed. I still remember the day Steve got fired. It was over something so stupid. I disagreement with the company owner, Bill, over scheduling linguistic. Steve was direct, smart, and meticulous, but he did not play politics. And Bill was the kind of boss who liked yes man. I was not in the room, but I heard the shouting. And then Steve came out of the office looking stoned like someone had knocked the wind out of him. No warning, no chance, no fix things, just get your stuff and go. Steve looked at me, forced a smile, and said, "Keep your head down. You are doing good work." And just like that, he was gone. Now here's the thing. My last name's different from Steve's. Nobody at the company tied us together, at least not immediately. I stayed on, partly because I needed the money, and partly because I wanted to keep an eye on things. But let me tell you, it was not easy. Bill did not just skew over Steve. That company had a culture of deception. I started noticing my checks were short, missing overtime, or promised benefits never came every time I asked. It was always, "We are working on it," or "It's in the pipeline lies." I should have left sooner, but something kept me there. Maybe pride, maybe quite resistance. But after 18 months of broken promises, I was done. That's when I got hired by a major telecom provider, the kind of company we used to subcontract for. And over the next few years, I climbed the ladder, slowly, steadily, until I landed a position that would change everything. Fast forward, I am now in charge of contractor approval and project allocation. We are taking multi-million dollar contracts, 20 to 30 projects a year, each worth 75k dollar to 200k dollars. And guess who calls me one afternoon, totally out of the blue? Bill. Yeah, I recognized his voice instantly, but he had no clue who he was talking to. "Hi there," he says. "I had loved to sit down with you and talk about getting on your approved vendor list. I think we could do great thing together." I played it cool. "Sure," I said. "Let's do lunch." We met at this upscale restaurant I had always wanted to try, but never could afford back when I worked for him. Funny how table turned. Bill came in wearing an expensive watch, smiling like we were old friends. He had no idea who I was. During lunch, he laughed into the usual corporate scale pitch, how his company values its worker, does quality work, and how they are eager to expand. I let him talk. Then, near the end of the meal, I leaned forward. You know, I said casually, I actually used to work for your company. He blinked. Really? What division? I told him, still no spark of recognition. So I added, Steve was the one who hired me. And that's when it happened. Bill froze. His eyes widened. The color drained from his face. Steve? He repeated. Then whispered, Wait, he was your stepdad? I nodded, calm and collected. The panic set in. You could feel it. He knew exactly what he did done. And now he was sitting across from the one person in the position to return the favor. I did not raise my voice. I did not gloat. I just smiled politely and said, Thanks for the lunch. Great food, but our contractor list is full right now with companies that are, let's say, more consistent in how they treat people. That he tried to recover. Well, if anything opens up, I had loved to. I will keep you in mind. I said, standing up. We shook hands. I never called him again. He never got a cent of our business. And as far as I know, that miscontract cost his company big. They had relied heavily on the work on company, like mine. And when the pipeline dried up, so did their cash flow. Sometimes life gives you a front row seat to karma. You don't always need to scream, fight, or beg for justice. Sometimes you just grow, wait, and let the world bring the table back around. Quiet revenge. It's the loudest kind. If this story gave you the goosebumps, hit that like button. Comment below with the most satisfying revenge you have ever seen or wish you could take. And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of justice served cold or flaming hot.